Andy Katz here for March Madness and March Madness 365 with some Sweet 16 power rankings. We're going to count down from 16 to 1. The way I'm doing this are teams that I was the most impressed with. I know you're going to debate me on this, but I'm going to start at number 16 with Creighton. In large part, this is also who they played and how they played. Creighton played well against Ohio, but Creighton's run to the Sweet 16 almost didn't happen. UCSB was right there to beat them. Didn't happen. Creighton gets the win, but I'm going to put Creighton at 16 at this moment. Villanova at 15 by far had the easiest path to the Sweet 16, and that's kind of why I put these two Big East teams at the bottom by who they played to get to the Sweet 16. Both played very well to get to the Sweet 16, but I've got Villanova and Creighton at 15 and 16. At 14, even though they knocked off some pretty high-level competition, it's hard for me to put Oral Roberts too high here, but because they beat Ohio State and Florida, I put Oral Roberts at 14. At number 13, I'm going with UCLA, first four to the Sweet 16, knocking off Michigan State, BYU, and then Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian upset Texas, so the Bruins had a, quote, easier road to the Sweet 16. At number 12, Houston. The Cougars beat Cleveland State, and then really had to eke out a win over Rutgers. Rutgers went into that prevent offense, and so the Cougars advance. At 11, Florida State, absolutely running away from Colorado, which had 16 threes against Georgetown, and Florida State locked up the Buffaloes and really didn't let them get going from the three-point line. At number 10, Syracuse. I didn't think Syracuse was going to beat West Virginia. They were the better team. They were the better shooting team. West Virginia got flustered from the zone. So the Orange advanced to the Sweet 16. At number 9, Oregon State. The Beavers are a great story. They're playing very well. And they had quite a hard road because they beat a pretty good Tennessee team, even though they'd struggle at times. And then they beat Oklahoma State with arguably the number 1 draft pick, Cade Cunningham. So Oregon State gets a lot of credit for that. At number 8, Arkansas. The Razorbacks knocked off Colgate and then Texas Tech. Solid wins. The reason Loyola's ahead of them at number 7, because the Ramblers took out Illinois, which I would argue probably was in the majority of brackets in the Final Four. So Loyola Chicago gets a ton of credit for beating Illinois. At number 6, Michigan. Number 1 seed, no Isaiah Livers, and they ran away from LSU in the last couple minutes, impressively in the last 5 minutes. At number 5, USC. The Trojans dominated Kansas. That win over Kansas was maybe the most impressive of a second-round win. At 4, Alabama. Alabama's offense was really good against Maryland. They locked down the Terps. I'm going with that Bama at 4. At 3, Oregon. The Ducks' win over Iowa offensively was second to me to USC's win over Kansas. Just an absolute display of how to beat a team at its own game. At number 2, Baylor. The Bears just defensively wouldn't let Wisconsin beat them from the three-point line. They look now like they did, for the most part, prior to their pause. At number 1, Gonzaga. Gonzaga scored 98 points to beat Norfolk State in the first round. And Drew Timme and Jalen Suggs, they didn't do much. Then against Oklahoma, Sooners gave him a game for a little while. And then Drew Timme just took over, and he was dominant. Suggs and Kispert got theirs. And their offense, just the second gear that they've got, it's incredibly impressive. And so they're looking the part as the number 1 overall seed and the team to beat.